do another 5 minutes.
I feel like we're getting story time when you get
yeah. That's what it's supposed to be. Should be around a campfire. Let's say serialized. Alright. Thinking about his speech, Father John missed Stubbs's capitulation. He cast his eyes to heaven and waited for direction. It was a constant source of annoyance to him. No matter how many books he read, how many words and ideas he stored, how often he performed, he would never match Henderson as an orator. He found it difficult enough on the Sabbath with a captive audience. But now Bull had preempted him, undermining all his ecumenical pleas with an appealing common sense. They were on a headland, as were Scarsdale, so the towns that lay inland were unlikely to have seen the warning fires. What would become of their sister town 3 miles to the west? We must go and warn them, Father John disclaimed. His eye had cooled, and it was made clear that he, as an infection risk, wouldn't be readmitted. Mercifully, their village had yet to be touched by death, and that's how they aimed to keep it. Okay. He was forced to concede that one. But what of the healthy seeking sanctuary from the sick? Should they turn him away in their hour of need? Should they spare their fellow man? Should they extend the hand of brotherhood? Here he'd managed to open debate. That afternoon, as he'd mindlessly administered blessings, it seemed the whole village wanted to be rebaptized. He'd mentally cast through the Bible, searching for the passage that would touch the Christian in his kinfolk. The eternal God is thy refuge, Deuteronomy 33:27. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. Proverbs 25:21. Thou shalt not bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but love thy neighbour as thyself. Leviticus 19:18. But now, as the brute north wind reddened his cheeks, and he contemplated the fire and brimstone ahead, it all sounded like empty rhetoric. He felt impotent and estranged. Since the fires, rumours had spread that Bull wanted to brick up the bridge and guard the ramparts with muskets and cannons. Entering the village where the road bottlenecked to a land strip hemmed on one side by the cliffs and the other by the docks was an arch, heralding the welcome known as the bridge, though no one could remember seeing it used in accordance with its name. Protect that 300-yard stretch, and the headland was impregnable by cankerous folk. And though nothing had been announced, nor Bull's name mentioned, confessional box whispers provided Father John with the clues he needed to know that Henderson had been out tub thumping. Support was spreading through the community. We could feel it. Invidious self-interest. At last week's congregation, Pat Manus had taken him quite roughly by the elbow and stepped into the shadows. When's the church going to take action, Father? People can't live in this limbo forever. We need guidance. Pat was a good Christian, or a frightened Christian. Like many others, his nature had been discoloured by paranoia. On Tuesday, as he pruned the rectory ivory, Tommy McCann, taciturn, stoical, principled, approached, and uttered a couple of cryptical lines before walking off in an irritatingly purposeful manner. Even Father John wondered if the visit was especially or impassioned. They wanted to break the bridge and save themselves. It was natural. But they wanted to do it with a clear conscience. Bull, for all his irrepressible rabble-rousing, couldn't provide that. What was it Tommy had said? He waked to recall the unusual phrasing. It's time we put an end to all this talk, Father. No, that was his opening line. It was the second that was puzzling, ambiguous. Something about the bridge. He added, but from a different angle, like he was suddenly standing on the other side. My great-great-grandfather laid that foundation stone. And he knew before he formulated the phrase that he found the means to win over the townsfolk. Psalms 24:7. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord, strong and mighty. Galvanized, he took the floor and delivered a crafty ecclesiastical sermon. Close the everlasting doors in our neighbours, and we also shut out God. With an architectural subtext that played on their instinctive resistance to change. He knew many would be fearful of permanent damage or alteration to their beloved bridge. History was vague about its heritage, placing it somewhere between the Dark Ages and the Border Wars. The debate still raged over whose ancestors had transported the limestones up from the Grimley quarry. He pitched them a scenario in which they could save the bridge and salve their souls. And as that understanding spread through the crowd, Bull's militant stance was gradually forgotten. The remainder of the meeting descended into a theological debate on which materials would or would not impede the Lord's influence. Bull continued to petition hard for wooden gates at least, but the mood had swung towards compromise, and Father John maintained a dignified silence. If allegiances were being drawn up, then no one wanted him to desert them.